All right, what's up, Agony? This is Chicken Joe, and this is going to be one of the first videos on that I'm going to do on dashing. So to start off, I want to kind of preface this with there's a lot of different a lot of people have different takes on how you should be using different dashes, and they're obviously so versatile. That's the most commonly used ability or resource used in the game. So I want to start off by talking about different types of dashes, how you should be using them, when you should be using them, a little bit of all of that. So let's get our guy in here first. Let's say this is you. Actually, don't want that to be purple. Let's say this is you. Also, I think that's good. Is the opacity of it? I don't know. It's the brush. But regardless, if this is you and somebody is here, there's a lot of different ways you can dash at them. You can dash at them straight. You can go to the sides. You can go for a behind. I'm going to start this off with side dashes too. But, I mean, obviously it does depend on range. But obviously they have a block usually. And a lot of people play their blocks a lot differently. There are ranges where you can track. And there are ranges where it is physically impossible to track dashes. And you have to pre-block them. Whenever you're super close to your opponent, you really can't immediately track. If you're blocking forward, you won't be able to immediately track this. You can flick behind if you think they're about to dash, but that'd still be predicting it instead of tracking it. So a big thing with dashing and spacing is you don't want to play this close to somebody unless you know that you can actually out mechanic them, or you know that they don't have the mechanics to be able to properly dash and hit you from that range. So a lot of times I play up close, but usually that's not me. Usually that's just me being a dumbass, and I only really do that if I think I can get away with it. If when I'm playing comp or running a set with somebody that's a lot better, you really won't see me get this close unless I feel like I can handle it, or I have a good feeling of what the person I'm fighting is capable of versus what I'm capable of. And a lot of times then I'm still gonna be playing predictions, which is not always bad, and you need to be able to predict stuff depending on people's behavior or play styles. But at the same time, it's just not as guaranteed or foolproof as just playing from space where you can react to everything. So getting back into side dashes, and dashing in general, there's a couple different directional ways you can do these that you'll see most. You'll probably see somebody, assuming this is you right here, you'll probably see somebody a lot of the times, or most people, dashing behind like that. This is one of the most common, especially at medium distance, this is one of the most common dashes that you'll see because a lot of people will still be blocking forward. But when you get to a certain level, a lot of people start to pre-block the backside. And what ends up happening is people still go for these dashes and then they just get punished. And it's not necessarily a bad thing because a lot of times you can still get away with it. It's a side dash, you can get out, usually back dash or forward dash. But this is where you want to start trying different lines of attack with your side dashes. So what I mean by that is if you're playing up close and somebody's gonna be pre-blocking because they have to that close, it's really important that you start to get used to doing a shape like this and you're hitting them at this point right here, because this is where a lot of people just will not be able to see this coming or block it. This shape though is honestly hard to do, and a lot of times you're going to end up right here and you're going to have to run back to hit them, but you can still usually do that as long as you time it all correctly. So being able to do different directions like this to hit them here or this to hit them here with your side dash is really important. You'll actually see me a lot, depending on who I'm fighting, usually at the first stock or two. I can usually tell, okay, does this person pre-block in the front, or are they holding the front, or do they pre-block in the back? Are they blocking sides? Where are they blocking? And you can even watch them in game. You can see all right, you can take half a second to be where is this person blocking? And when you see them looking the other way from that distance, just go for that front side right here because you're going to hit that. You're going to hit that. A lot of people genuinely will not be ready for that. And the same thing goes with even when you're just in neutral, running at somebody, if this is you, this is them. A lot of times people are still going to be ready to block forward, and it's almost the smartest thing to do to just side dash straight at them but still go for forward contact, because a lot of people, they can dash pretty tight, and it's also important that you're able to dash pretty tight, because when it comes to dashing, goes for side dashes, forward dashes, even back dashes, you name it. Whenever you get to, let me just, I messed that up. There. Oh, it's on the background. I'm an idiot. Let's turn that. No, I don't want to turn that off. Whatever. Whenever you get to a certain like point where you're starting to feel more comfortable with dashing and movement in HBG, this goes for all battlegrounds though. It's important that you understand that dashes can be good or bad in a sense that they can be efficient or inefficient. And what I mean by that is an inefficient dash is something that's taking all this extra space to get to its target. Because all this extra space you're seeing here, this is all time that gives this guy like time to react. And then a lot of times that's when you can track. Bad dashing is when people can track. And you can eliminate that by starting to just get tight and in. But you do got to watch out because a lot of times, even if they're blocking this backside, people's blocks will hit right here. And just to go over a couple of these real quick in game, you can see I have different dummies here. This guy's blocking forward. So obviously, like we talked about, you can like hit him in the back pretty easy. Or you can also hit him in the side. I missed, but whatever. But one thing you should understand is if he's blocking forward, even like from certain like angles on the side, this will still hit this. And if you are trying to like have a more efficient dash, that's pretty efficient. If you get too close, even just grazing the block, a lot of times can stop you or even slow your momentum, which is pretty annoying, but also pretty stupid. Discussing some of the different dash types I said. So like let's say you're at this range with somebody, a lot of times around this range people are going to pre-block the backside because that's just the most common like dash to do right there. I talked a bit about doing it like that. I'm obviously with me right now, but like right there. See? That's exactly how you'd kind of want to do this because a lot of people will pre-block their backside if you're that close. It's just what people do. I mean, it's smart too because most times people will go for your backside. And that goes for most dashes too. But even then, it's good to practice that. A couple other things to cover too when it comes to dashing is range. A lot of people don't know their range. A lot of people don't know other people's ranges. And this plays into spacing pretty importantly. Side dash wise, like a flat side dash, you can reach about 3 tiles. If you're jump dashing, you can do a little bit more than that, but even then it's pretty minor. And most of the times when you're doing that just to get that like barely over on the side part. Because a lot of people will still be blocking right here. If you can get that like right there, that kind of sweet spot on somebody blocking, like if I can kind of show it here. Like right there. That's kind of when you'll see that being used. But otherwise, you should be able to understand that like from this distance, I can hit them, but also they can hit me. And as you get closer, that time you give yourself to react reduces like faster, like it gets faster and faster. So that's why whenever I'm fighting somebody comp, I'm not going to be right up here, kind of how I talked about earlier. I'm still going to be playing up here. I'm going to be dashing in. And then if I don't get the hit, either back dashing out, or sometimes you'll even see me, depending on who I'm fighting, I'll like forward dash out because a lot of times that'll delay them and then they might forward dash to punish and then you can even hold this block. And remember, it's never passive to space yourself. A lot of people think you're being passive if you're playing from space. People will be playing like from 3 tiles away. People will just like throw themselves at you. You'll kill them. They're like, hey, you're passive. It's like, no, I'm not passive. I just know I'm not stupid enough to play right in front of your face where I'm not even giving myself any time to react. So you'll see that a lot. Like you'll see it where we'll get back to this here. You'll see it a lot where people don't know their spacing, so they dash too early. And because they dash too early, you're able to block it, and then they're like, hey, why are you playing passive? It's like, no, I'm not playing passive, man. I'm not playing passive. Is this not eraser, bro? I don't know why eraser's black. And why that's purple, but whatever. I might just need to make a new thing. I kind of botched this because I can just do this. Ignore me. Can I get this bigger? Or my button's not working. There we go. But that's a good bit of like basics when it comes to dashing. Positioning, all that stuff obviously always matters too. How you're playing, like where you're playing, all that is pretty important. And a lot of it comes off of how you're reading people. And I want to say it is really important that you play in the moment. Don't like try and decide in your head, oh, okay, I'm going to do this next. Because what happens when you do that, maybe you go for something and then they evade before you even do it. and then you still do it anyway, and they just punish you. So I do not recommend playing all predictions. The best playstyle is a hybrid of predicting here and there or deciding for something here and there, but also being able to like keep your whole focus on the other person. Because if you don't keep your entire focus on them, then you're gonna see, okay, like I'm gonna get hit more, I'm gonna get punished more, I'm gonna mess this stuff up more, because you're worrying so much about yourself and what you're doing. Which is also why you see me play Bakugo a lot, because I'm too lazy to get everything else down like second nature. But Bakugo, I have like on the back of my hand, like I know exactly what I'm doing when playing him, so that way it gives me all the focus I need to just pay attention to the other person. But otherwise, I just want to clarify still, there are the key different forms of dashing with the side, and you should practice all of these depending on where someone's block is, because they all can be pretty important. I mean, they are all important, but I still think this is one of the most important ones you should start to work on now, depending on where you're at. And that is just basically paying attention to them. And if you see that pre-block in general, start looking at hitting them in the front with your side dash, because the front is surprisingly more open than you'd expect on a lot of comp players that just pre-block. People like X Dirk, for example, holds his block on the back, and whenever you're close, like if you're able to do it, it's like right here. And it's really funny because it's unironically kind of difficult at times to do that dash because you're like using less space than you need. But that's also where using other resources comes in. Like for example, on Bakugo, if I'm like this close to somebody, a lot of times I might even just like, oh, it didn't connect. But like you can hit that like and get like your second dash like from around this range. You know what I mean? Versus trying to side dash, hit them right here. And you can also run up and just M1. M1 has a pretty decent range. But you can also start to see like with different moves or move sets, all right, I can hit them neutral from here. Like if you're playing Stain, daggers, you name it, or if there's other movement abilities you might have to just hit them straight forward, that's when you're gonna start to see some things click. But otherwise, I think this pretty much covers it for dashing. I didn't really talk about forward dash much, and if I'm going to, I mean, forward dash is a lot more simple. It's obviously on a lot longer of a cooldown, and you obviously can get punished a lot more on it. But if I had a couple key notes for forward dashes, it's that you can side dash out of it pretty fast. And a lot of times before you even get punished, if you just spam to the side, or even aim it to the side, just if you want to like aim back for a punish on them, then you can land that, because people like that's a short delay that you have. That's why like you might fight somebody and think like, oh, they have no end lag, but no, they have end lag. It's just they're spamming it so fast that the second that end lag goes away, they're out of there. But otherwise with front dashes, the one reason I kind of have a lot of accolades for my front dashes is I'm just super used to just doing that. Like I do that from any direction. I see where they're blocking, and then I just curl behind them. It's like it's all about just like kind of flicking it with me, because I'll just hit them in the back. And I mean, there's more things you can do with that. Like if somebody is pre-blocking this section 20, you can like curl around and hit them right there. Though it is smarter to just hit them for head on, or to do that kind of dash you talked about earlier. Though otherwise with front dashing, I'd say don't do it from space. Never lead with a front dash unless you know like kind of where they're at. What you'll see me do a lot is I might hit somebody's block, like so. Like I'll hit somebody's block and then I'll like forward dash back around. And that's probably not the best example, but I'll like hit the front and then I'll like kind of curl it around, hit right there, and that works a lot. It knocks them back sometimes, but depending on the space you take to get there, you can totally land that and get some free damage. Though otherwise, I think that covers it for dashing. I could have talked probably a lot more about spacing or moves, like what those play into it, but I feel like that's a pretty good basis for a lot of you guys to get to. This is coming from somebody who's I mean, honestly, I haven't played that much Battlegrounds in general, but I have at least competed at a pretty high level against people like Lava and Nyla and all those guys. I kind of grew alongside them, so for what it's worth, you can take my opinion with a grain of salt, but I do recommend working on a lot of those different forms of dashes so you have more moves up your arsenal. I feel like the next vid I'll probably do will be something like to cover resources and cycling resources, which what I mean by that is just moves and your dashes and your evade. Like I actually saw earlier, one of the guys said like it feels like I'm cheating because I always have moves up, and that's just because I almost always use my moves. Because moves, evade, dashes, they all come back. So if they can help you in the moment in any way whatsoever, shape or form, it's important that you use them because that's what they're there for. But otherwise, Chicken Joe out. Appreciate it if you watched to the end.